The politicians are the one that ought to be tested for drug addiction first. Because why? Their actions, if you look at the rationality of the actions of Nigerian politicians, can you truly say that they are not high on drugs? Please start from the presidency. Help me carry the likes of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, carry the likes of Nyesom Wike, subject them to drug test. You even see at some of the motor parks, you see some drivers that are waiting for their turn in the presence of everybody in broad daylight smoking igbo. The third one is police officers. Those are the people that need drug test. Police officers. Hello, great people. It's another moment to Polythink with Omoshola Deji, your trusted political library that brings you analysis of politics and happenings in the polity. And on this episode of Polythink, we are going to be talking about NDLEA, Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Guess what, great people? NDLEA is proposing mandatory drug tests for students seeking admission into university, polytechnics, and colleges of education. Yeah, you heard that right. Mandatory drug tests. So if you have a child, definitely very soon your child may be subjected to drug tests, even if that child does not even know what drug means. Even if that child has never seen any substance in his or her life, your child will be subjected to mandatory drug tests. On this episode, I'll be analyzing for you the people that truly need drug tests in Nigeria. I have three categories of people that, if you agree with me, I want to read it in the comment section. I'll also be telling you the implication of this mandatory drug test, and if allowed, how NDLEA is going to eventually carry out the mandatory drug test. Who will benefit from it? Who will suffer it? Definitely, I'll be bringing you all the analysis on this episode of Polythink with Omoshola Deji. Now, do we really need drug tests for students? Don't forget that students seeking admission will be like, let's say, if the student is brilliant, will be from about 15, 16 years to, let's say, 20 years. Those are the age gap of students seeking admission. So if you are subjecting a 16, 20-year-old boy or girl to drug test, you may not realize that you may be the first person that is introducing that child to what drug truly means. Because we have kids in this country that they've never seen any substance in their life. We have kids that they've never seen weed, they've never seen tramadol, they don't even know what tramadol is. So as long as you are trying to curb drug addiction, you are also initiating unconsciously students to drugs, because if you are subjecting them to drug tests, definitely they need to know what you are subjecting them to. Then they begin to ask questions, they begin to interrogate further. What is drugs? What is the implication of drugs? And you can't really ascertain that definitely all of them, all the students that are tested, will not be willing to go into drugs one way or the other. So instead of you subjecting them to drug tests, when they gain admission, why not make it a compulsory course in the tertiary institutions, just like the GNS, General Studies, that most Nigerian universities do? Why not make a course as regards drugs for those students in the university? Why not let there be a course that preaches the implication of drug usage and addiction? Does that not make any sense? Now, who are the people that truly need drug test? Is it the student? If you say student needs drug test, don't other people need the drug test more than the student? Well, I'll tell you for free that first, you need to test people that if they take the substance, their actions can have monumental, irreparable damage to the society. Again, I repeat, you need to first of all test people that if they take the substance, the drugs, their actions can cause monumental, irreparable damage to the people and society. Now, who are the people that fall into this category? I have three categories, so stay tuned, great people. Number one is the politicians. The politicians are the one that ought to be tested for drug addiction first. Because why? Their actions, if you look at the rationality of the actions of Nigerian politicians, can you truly say that they are not high on drugs? Because you just imagine that if you are not high on drugs, Nigerians will be telling you that don't buy jet, and you just go and buy the jet when people are suffering, when people are crying, when people are dying of hunger. So the rationality behind the decision of some of our leaders makes it necessary for us to be subjecting them to drug test. So instead of wasting public money to test students that are innocent, please start from the presidency. Help me carry the likes of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, carry the likes of Nyesom Wike, subject them to drug test for us to ascertain that they are operating with a rational mindset. Because if how Nigeria is today in terms of development, in terms of economy, and what the future looks like in this country, definitely we need to question whether our leaders are truly on drugs. So you cannot leave politicians that when you look at some of them, the way they are even acting, their body composure, you doubt whether these people are not always high on substance. So the NDLEA, that during the presidential election, that people were clamoring that they should subject the candidate to drug test based on the alleged, I emphasize, alleged statement or what's on the street that the president is a drug addict. Don't forget that people were saying that they should subject the candidates to test. Atiku Abubakar of PDP, Peter Obi of Labour Party, Kwakwanso of NNPP, Bola Ahmed Tinubu of APC. This same NDLEA backed out. Under this same leadership, Buba Marwa, the former military administrator of Lagos State, backed out and said no, they are not going to test the candidate. So if you back out that you are not going to test the candidate, and we have just 4 major candidates who will take decisions that will affect the life of Nigerians, you fail to test them. You are not interested in testing them, but suddenly you wake up and you want to be testing students that want to gain admission. You leave people that if they are high on substance, they will take a rational decision. What decision is university students seeking admission? What decisions are they capable of taking? And you can tell me that yes, they are the future of tomorrow. They are the leaders of tomorrow. But the thing is, are they of high risk? So if anything is happening at the moment in the country that is not right, are you not supposed to first of all address those that are of high risk? In this case, the politicians. So you leave people that are of high risk. You fail to present a bill to the National Assembly that will make it mandatory for political contestants to subject themselves to drug tests. You leave that. You are now focusing on innocent students. So that questions the rationality of the decision of NDLEA. So now, this number 2, that the category of people that need test is transporters. So all these people at motor park, when you go and send your goods and services, wey be some of these people that don't do all this interstate, even some of these Lagos color bus, are they not the one that needs drug test? Let's be sincere with ourselves. Sometimes if you enter all these buses interstate, all these commercial buses, you see the driver's eye will be very red. The way the driver said will be talking, don't worry, their voice and everything, you know that this guy is a hyper seconds. You even see at some of the motor parks, you see some drivers that are waiting for their turn in the presence of everybody in broad daylight smoking igbo. At the motor park, you see ìyá onípàrágà, ìyá oníjẹ̀dí, ìyá ọlọ́pàá ẹ̀yìn, all this ethanol, all this high percentage alcohol. So who really needs drug test? Is it not the transporters that when they take the drugs and the alcohol, their actions, their miscalculations while driving can lead to the loss of lives and properties? And people that will die in that their bus are breadwinners of a family. They are important people in a family. They may not be relevant people to you, but in their family, they are relevant to them. So you left transporters, despite the prevalence of drug consumption and alcohol consumption amongst transporters in Nigeria at the motor parks, you left them. You want to go and focus on students seeking admission. That's why you need to question yourself how intelligent Nigerian leaders are. So is it not all these motor parks that you're supposed to go and raid? You left them. You didn't test them. Now, the third category of people that truly needs test, if you ask me, and I want to read in your comment section, in the comment section, whether you agree with me, then add to the list. I want you to add to the list. Now, I'm going to give you three, but please, if anyone comes to your mind, I love to read it in the comment section. The third one is police officers. Those are the people that need drug test. Police officers. Because the truth is, the rank and file of the police, some of them, well, what am I even saying? Have you not come across on social media where they show rank and file police officer smoking igbo? There was one that went viral. I think it was around Mushin. You see some of them, they would have loose guard, drinking while they are on their uniform. So who are the people that really needs drug test? Is it not the policeman that handles gun every day, that after he smokes the igbo, at the slightest provocation, he can cock the gun and shoot? So if you leave police officers, if you leave transporters, if you leave politicians whose action, like I said in the beginning, that you are to test people that if they take the substance, their actions can cause monumental, irreparable damage to people and the society. And it is this category of people. Politicians, number one. Transporters, number two. Police officers, number three. So if you leave these people and you are not testing students, what is the rationality in that? And let's assume that NDLEA is now allowed to now be testing students in schools. Do you know what will happen? Should I tell you the truth? It is the child studying in Mushin, in Ojuelegba, Okokomaiko, Abule Egba, the slums that will suffer it. Those are the schools that they will go. NDLEA will not go to British International School, will not go to American University of Nigeria to go and conduct a search operation or to go and raid the student there. You know why? Now, poor man no get life for this country, because the children of the people there are children of the rich, the children of the high and mighty. So NDLEA will not go there. And the truth is, you and I know that most times it is all these sport children that sometimes go into this drug, because you are poor, you never see food chop. Even if you are going to go into drugs, it is all these cheap drugs, you know. But rich kids consume the most expensive drugs that will ruin their life easily. But NDLEA, if permitted, will not go to those schools to go and carry out those operations. They will go to the schools in Ojuelegba, in Okokomaiko. But if you truly want to get result, go to the school, British International, you know, go to all these luxury schools. I'm sure that NDLEA will get some good result there. But I believe that the goal of government should be to tackle drug prevalence. Government should be after tackling drug prevalence rather than testing people. And what are you supposed to do? You cut off the source of supply. In other words, drugs will not fly into the country. You tighten your belt at the border, at the entry. You put responsible custom officers at the port to make sure that those drugs do not escape into the country. That is the best way to tackle drug prevalence. Cut off the source of supply. And those ones that you cannot kind of like cut off the source of supply, because some of these drugs are being used for treatment. For instance, some of all these codeine, tramadol, you know, they use it for treatment. Some of them are ingredient in some crucial medications for people. But you see those ones that people usually consume, why not try to make sure that you cut off the supply, and some you try and make it unavailable? I'll give you an example. There are a lot of Islamic countries in Asia, and by virtue of their religion being Islam, they don't like alcohol. And they know that there are people that like to consume alcohol. Rather than ban alcohol, you know what they did? They impose heavy tax on alcohol in such a way that it becomes expensive. You cannot afford to consume alcohol easily. For instance, if a beer of Heineken in Nigeria costs between 800 and 1,000, if you are to buy it abroad in some of these Asian Islamic countries, do you know how much you pay to buy it? A drink that you buy here for 800, 1,000 naira, you'll be buying it for like 5,000 naira. So that naturally curbs your addiction. That naturally restrains you from consuming those illicit drugs. So those are the kind of things that Nigerian government should be doing. I think it is a misplacement of priority for you to say you want to leave politicians, you want to leave police officers, you want to leave transporters, and you now want to go and be testing students that are seeking admission. Why are we like this in this country? Why do we like misplacement of priority? That's how the president will leave people that are suffering, and we go and be buying private jets. Millions of people are suffering. You are going to buy private jet. You are one man, just because you want to satisfy yourself, you want to live life of luxury and influence. I think we need thinking people in government. We need thinking people in government parastatals, government agencies. Prepare your child. Look after your child very well, because if this sails through, your child might just be conducted to drug test. I remember humble self, your one and only political library, Dr. Omoshola Deji, political scientist, public affairs analyst. This is what I do. This is what I like doing. And trust me, I'm going to come your way very soon with another interesting topic, giving you all the analysis, all the insights, all the interesting perspectives that you need to know. Till I see you again, stay safe. God bless. I love you all sincerely.